James Marable, owner of Original Thought Required Boutique, downtown Cincinnati. Downtown Cincinnati's contemporary streetwear boutique. We've been open since January 29th and been growing ever since.
Nice. How did you get started in the boutique business?
Prior to opening, for the past 3 years, I had a t-shirt line that I started when I was still at University of Cincinnati. And as that grew, I kind of needed a space, like an actual physical location, as opposed to just selling them online or selling them out my car or having a party and selling at a party. I needed a place. Like, everybody kept asking me, like, when you open a store, you know? So then I started researching, you know, how to open a store, like what actually went in place, what type of licenses I needed, and like rent and all that kind of stuff. It just all kind of just snowballed. It just one thing led to the next, which led to the next, which led to me opening. A lot of times I kind of hit a couple walls and didn't think that I was gonna be able to do it, but it worked out.
That's good. You said that you started a t-shirt line first. How did that idea come about, and when exactly did you start your t-shirt line?
I started my t-shirt line after I had been. I started out doing parties when I was in college, and then when I started doing the parties, I was paying people to do design for like the flyers and whatnot. And then after a while, I just didn't want that expense, so I taught myself how to use Photoshop, which kind of led me down the graphic design path. And it was kind of like, it was a similar process. So it was like, why not, you know, make my own t-shirts instead of paying $40 for somebody else's t-shirt when I can make my own. So when I did that, then everybody else was like, you know, where can I get my t-shirt? So then the entrepreneur in me, like, you know, let's just start a t-shirt line and, you know, start selling them. So then the Atypical Soul t-shirt line came into play. Like, Atypical Soul as a name already existed because like of the parties and stuff that we were doing with that, but it kind of branched out.
You said earlier that you know, started most of this while you were in college. What did you study when you were in college?
Marketing. Originally, I came to UC for computer science. I did that for like a year and a half, and it just wasn't for me. Marketing was something that was more natural, something that I've pretty much been doing all my life, even going back to elementary school. Like, I used to sell candy. It's funny, but like, I used to sell candy, and like I used to have like 10 people work for me. Like, I didn't even sell it. Like, I would just get it and like divide it and just take a cut. And like, I would do that, and I used to sell CDs, and I would do all that. And then it was like, when I graduated, it was like, what am I gonna do? And I ended up getting this scholarship for engineering, so I took it, didn't really know what I was getting into. And after a while, I was just like, I did what was more natural, so I went into marketing.
Are you originally from Cincinnati?
No, I'm from the Dayton area, okay. Trotwood Madison High School, best high school in the state. Red, white, and black. Little known fact, the colors of OTR isn't after the reds, it's for Trotwood, it's from high school.
9-7.
You know, 9 through 7, all that. But yeah, I went to Trotwood, came down here to go to school at UC, and just been down here ever since. I mean, this is the big city to me. Like, it's funny, like, it's not big, like, I've been to huge cities and whatnot, but it's like, being from Dayton, Trotwood, it's like, you know, 100,000 people. That's nothing. Like, this is big for that. So, I mean, I like it. It's cool.
So how did it come to be that your shop ended up being in Over the Rhine?
I've been living in Over the Rhine for like the past 2 years. I liked the area. I liked the progression that I saw. Like, even when I moved down here, this area was like, I wouldn't even drive through this neighborhood. But then, like, as the years went on, like, a lot of development started happening. You started seeing a lot of art galleries open up, a lot of condos open up. And then when I finally made the jump to move down here, it just seemed like the perfect place. Like, I just envisioned this in a couple years, just like being the go-to place for Cincinnati, like art and culture. So I wanted to be on the ground floor.
True. What were some of your influences growing up in the Trotwood area?
My dad, like, that was like my biggest. He's like my biggest influence. Like, I got a lot of his personality traits. Just seeing him, just being a strong man. Just, you know, raising his family, just raising us to do right. He's like my life influence, I guess, like the person that I would model myself after as far as like moving up and moving forward in the world. Beyond that, like as a kid, like I've always been into like Jordans. Like Michael Jordan is like one of my heroes. Always, you know, to this day. Always been into sneakers. So like just watching what Nike did, and then just music. Like I'm really musically inclined. So like some of my influences would be like, you know, like your Kanye West and your Pharrell Williams. Just the way they took the music and they meshed it with fashion. Like that was just like really inspiring to me. And like at a time when a lot of people weren't looking that direction, like I was. So like that was like a big influence to me at that point. So like now I'm getting a little older. It's kind of like I'm defining my own path. But when I really started taking note to like this boutique lifestyle, streetwear and whatnot, it was from them and just the lifestyle that they were living back when I was 18.
What legacy would you like to leave in Over the Rhine?
I'd like to leave a legacy of creating a space where anybody could come down and feel comfortable and at home, come and kind of get their ideas out, be as artistic as they like, and just have a space where that they can just be creative and don't have to worry about like fitting into a box.
So do you feel like, I mean, with Cincinnati, Ohio and the culture of Cincinnati, Ohio, do you feel like your brand and just in general what you sell, do you feel like that kind of fits along with the culture? Do you feel like there's like another like subculture that kind of dresses in a different way and expresses themselves differently?
I think there is definitely a subculture in Cincinnati, and that's more or less what I cater to, so to speak. I think like the masses are coming along this path, but it's just slower than like I guess the path that I'm on. Like I don't want to say like I'm ahead of the curve or whatever, but like I kind of feel like that, and it's just I feel that there are a lot of like-minded individuals here, and for a while there wasn't really a space for them to like be able to congregate and really go somewhere and shop and like really find what they want and be an individual, because like most things here in Cincinnati, it's a very conservative city, kind of just follows a format or a formula or what have you. So I just feel like original thought required in the name, like original thought required. We just want a space where people that think differently can come and go.
So in general, that's why you decided on naming it Original Thought Required? Yeah,
like I guess always, even back to the Atypical Soul name, like Atypical Soul, like I'm a sneakerhead, and then I feel that I'm different. So Atypical Soul is like where that name came from. And then when it was time to open the boutique, I didn't want to name it the same name, but I wanted it to have kind of like the same feel and you know, like the same ethos, I guess that's a word to use. But I wanted it to play on the neighborhood of Over the Rhine, because I mean I really love the neighborhood. So we had the OTR, and then it was just a function of like what could convey the Atypical Soul message in the OTR acronym, and Original Thought Required was like, it was perfect.
Okay, like me not being from here and all I've ever really heard about Over the Rhine, you know what I'm saying, being mostly negative things. Mm-hmm. How do you feel like the neighborhood is changing in more of a positive manner?
I just think that the crime has really subsided. I think it was really bad like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Like it was terrible. But like, I don't know. Like I just think the police are doing a really good job. I think the landowners, the property owners down here are really making a concerted effort to bring in, or actually bring their buildings up to code and bring their buildings up in such a way that it attracts people of a different mindset to come down here, and just doing that just makes Over the Rhine better already. I think that a lot of the stereotypes that come with it, like even in the city, like if you talk to somebody in the suburbs, like they're scared to come down here at times, but like just seeing like the few brave individuals or whatever, like people like myself or Katie, who owns a vintage shop across the street, like people like us just being down here kind of sets an example for others. Like when they see that, they're like, well, they're down there, they're not scared, like, because there isn't anything wrong with being down here. Like this is a great area. I just think that just historically, I wouldn't even say historically, just like in the last 10 years, like it's just been really bad since the riots, and they're really working hard to bring it back.